Now today we're going to have a look back at the weekend's football in the Premier League. It was another fascinating weekend, and I'm joined by John Giles to discuss it. John, the Premier League is missed when it's an international week. At least I find it. There's a gap in my life when I don't see the Premier League football. And this was an interesting weekend in many ways. Let's start with Liverpool and Chelsea.
Yeah.
We both watched it, we were talking to each other during the game. What did you make of Liverpool's performance, John? They've got the 3 points. They won 2-1. There was VAR, which we'll talk about, involved. What did you make of Liverpool's performance?
I didn't think Liverpool played as well as they possibly can, Eamon. I thought Chelsea, as the game went on, were very good.
Yes.
Like the makings of a good team there with Frank Lampard. But Liverpool are very, very difficult to beat anyway. But the front three never really got going.
Yeah.
You know, midfield never really got going in the way that we know that they can. So with Chelsea being good and getting better as the game went on, especially in the second half, Liverpool never really got a grip of the game.
Yes.
At vital stages. And I think they got away with it in over the 90 minutes, apart from VAR. But I think they didn't play as well as they can play. And like Fabinho in the middle of the field was okay, but he didn't get a grip of the game when they needed to get a grip of the game. And the midfield don't aim in anyway. Do you know what I mean? They don't really get a grip of the game at vital areas, because once the forwards are on their game, they're attacking, which is really good. But they won the match. They won the match, but it wouldn't be a performance from Liverpool that you would say it's definitely one of their best performances. But it's a performance that they could welcome off, and Klopp had said, we got 3 points from it.
Yes.
And you'd be glad to get them.
Yeah, absolutely, because and we'll come to Chelsea in a moment. Just to go back to Liverpool, there's a couple of problems that I identified in the game, and you've identified them from the get-go this season. One is the high line Liverpool are inclined to play. That really means that when they're being attacked, they're inclined to run out, try and leave the opposition offside, rather than looking for their man, sticking with a runner if a runner. Now, in the first half of the game, Tammy Abrahams got clean through. Liverpool ran out. It was reckless. He was one-on-one with the keeper, Adrian. He didn't finish it well. He actually hit the goalkeeper with the shot. Keeper made himself a little bit big.
He did well, He
did well, but that was a goal averted. But there's still signs that Liverpool are trying to fix something that wasn't broken last year. They had a very, very good defensive record last year. The signs are bad in that a really top team would kill them.
Well, I mean, when you have a weakness like that, you could go 5 games and it's not exposed.
It's not punished, yeah.
But somewhere along the line, it will be exposed. I mean, if the centre forward for Chelsea the other,
Tammy Abraham,
he's the only young lad,
is,
a top finisher, or he should have scored. Let's put it that way. He should have scored. The keeper did well, and it's been a part of their policy this year that we didn't see last year.
No.
That when the team is attacking, this is going to be. It's like the old offside trap. They're going to come out early. Van Dijk let Abraham go because that's what they're obviously being told to do.
Yeah.
They're practicing it, doing it during the week, and it's a weakness. It's wrong to be doing it because the likes of Van Dijk and these guys with their pace, all they got to do is stay with Abrahams.
Yes.
Yeah, Abraham. Yeah, just stay with, and other centre forwards. But it's happened since the start of the season.
Even Norwich in the first game of the season were getting in behind them.
Yeah. Man City, even in the what was the old Charity Shield. Like even there was a couple of kickouts they got behind them.
Yes.
Because they seem to be pushing up, which is fine, pushing up at the right time. But you have to have a balance that if they're going to knock a ball through like Saturday, you've got to go with the runner.
And of course, the good coaches, and of course Guardiola is in that category, but also other coaches and in Europe will be looking at Liverpool. They are the champions, and they'll spot this weakness. Yeah. And there is a way to beat it. One of the ways is good timing of runs. The other way is to run from deep. So it's not actually. It's a midfield player who breaks through. And so we think it'll be costly.
It could be. Well, it usually is. If you have a weakness somewhere along the line, it's going to catch you.
And it'll be a big match.
And well, see, if you're playing against the lesser teams, they're not going to get into a position to deliver the ball in the way that exposes that particular weakness. But when you play against the better teams, and occasionally even against one of the lesser teams, it can happen. Somewhere along the line it'll happen. Once it is a fault. It's like a fullback game not getting into cover position when he should. You go 8 games, fine, no problem. But somewhere along the line,
bang,
it catches you. Now, and it could have done easily. If Abraham finishes the way he should finish, then it's something that they shouldn't be doing. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, another performance yesterday that I'd question is Mo Salah. Now, criticising Mo Salah is almost sacrilegious. I think he's a fantastic person. He seems to be, and he's just such a brilliant player and such a great goal scorer. And Liverpool has been the making of him. He was a former Chelsea player, so going back to Stamford Bridge yesterday would have been interesting for him. He was at Roma. He did nothing very much there. He's been a great buy for Liverpool. But I saw self-indulgence and carelessness in his play yesterday, trying to nutmeg people when a simple ball was on. What did you see?
Well, I think he's a great finisher, that's obvious. Yeah. That's the obvious. He's a great finisher. I think his overall game, generally, now he was particularly poor yesterday, but even in his overall game, and especially this season, his use of the ball hasn't been good. When it comes to finishing, obviously he switches on, and a lot of strikers are like finishers, are like that. They're only instant in scoring goals. Yeah. So in the general play, I've never seen him being particularly really good in the general play. Yeah,
there was a glaring example at Burnley a couple of weeks ago when he could have played Firmino in first, would have been a tap in, and then subsequently, about 10 minutes later, he could have played Mane in for another tap in, and he didn't. Yeah. He was looking for a goal. Now, Mane was hauled off with about 7 or 8 minutes to go, and he went mad. He ripped his shirt off, threw it on the ground, and gave everyone on the bench. And he was obviously mad. Why are you pulling me off? And what's your man doing out there not passing to me? Yeah. So and people were saying, is that important? Will it have an effect on morale in the squad and stuff? I don't think it will, but Salah's sort of lust for goals hasn't gone unnoticed by Mane.
No. I think it does affect Eamon. I think it does affect. I think Salah is a terrific player, as you say. I don't think he's conscious of being greedy.
Yeah,
he is what he is, and strikers are in a world of their own. They don't score goals if they're looking around as much as they should be at times.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? A Mane will stick it there. Mane will stick in the back of there. I'd say he's more conscious of giving it to somebody else, where Salah isn't. But to show it publicly, like it's not good, because everybody's human, Eamon. And you get Salah did his stuff last year. He was Player of the Year, and he got all the things he deserved. Yes. But like everybody being human, like Sané is a terrific player as well, and he's scoring a lot of goals. Yeah. And Joe Bloggs is getting. Yeah. It happens. Yeah. You know, it's only human nature. There would be a certain amount of competition between them, and I dare say a bit of jealousy.
Yeah.
You know, it does happen, especially if you're in a position that Mane is more likely to pass it to Salah in that position than Salah is to pass it to Mane. So he's out of, look, I do it and you don't do it. Yeah. In the dressing room, it's very difficult, Eamon, for everybody to get along all the time, particularly strikers who don't lay it on for somebody else. I mean, what was very noticeable over the years, say, in Barcelona, when we had Suarez, Neymar and Messi. They did actually pass the ball to each other, which is most unusual, especially Messi, who is the top man, was totally
generous in that way.
In that particular way. So it does breed, particularly goal scorers, I think.
Yeah.
Particularly goal scorers, where Manny is in a great position, knocked him in, knocking the back of the net, and he doesn't get it. So, and it doesn't help the overall dressing room situation.
Now, Liverpool, John, unbeaten, top of the league. They're 5 points clear of Manchester City, 7 points clear of Leicester and Arsenal, of the third team. And that gap that we anticipated between Liverpool, City and the rest is growing now. It's going to grow. Liverpool, without being entirely convincing in any one of their games, there's a kind of, they are very exciting. Yesterday at Stamford Bridge, I thought they pressed Chelsea in the first half and they really put their back four under pressure. Chelsea couldn't really get out very easily. That pressure wasn't applied in the second half. They have a 2-0 lead now. This is where they need to manage the game, wouldn't you think? Yeah. And I do think Fabinho has matured and is a very, very good player for Liverpool now. He was badly at fault for Kante's goal. He didn't close him down. He actually was crazy. He didn't make an effort. And Kante, there was 5 Liverpool players around him on the edge of the box, and he still scored. He's a great player, isn't he?
He's brilliant. He's a great lad, Eamon,
Yeah, but he's a great player, John.
Oh, yeah. Oh, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I wouldn't say he was a great lad if he wasn't a great player. but even later on in the game, do you remember he was back in the centre half position?
Yes, yeah.
He was like, you had to drop, and he got it there, got it full of energy. He's brilliant. I'd say he's
the best in the world at midfield. Most valuable.
Most valuable, I'd say. Yeah, because he's so honest. Probably you'd expect him to be honest. All the great players are honest. But to do what he does week in and week out, and he's not playing his best position. No. That's the thing. But I'd say wherever you played him, he'd give you what he's got.
Yeah, actually, Frank Lampard is playing him in the middle of the three. Kind of, yeah. More so than he was.
No, he's terrific, Eamon. But you're talking about go back to Liverpool not defending. I think Liverpool generally are brilliant at that, closing players down. Closing players.
Yeah.
But when you get a 2-0 lead and a good team like Chelsea coming back at you, then there's another approach to it.
Yes.
Which is holding the ball.
Yeah.
Like when you get it. In other words, they are great and a little bit off yesterday in getting the ball back. But obviously, if you don't give it away, then you don't have to get it back.
Sure.
And they don't do that particularly well.
Yeah.
It's go, go, go.
Yes.
And like Fabinho in the middle of the field is okay. I think he's improved, Eamon. But he's nobody with him to say, or even himself, right, this game is going against us. What we have to do is get a hold of it. Get a hold of the ball.
Take the heat out of the game. Take the heat and the intensity out of the game.
But in football, there's only one ball on the pitch. So if you get a hold of it, particularly when, like, in my opinion, when there's different phases of the game, you're 2-0 down, you have to go for it. That's a fact.
Yes.
But when you're 2-0 up, the goals dictate the games, or they should dictate the games.
Yeah.
And Liverpool games, they don't really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they're 2-0 up, they're going for 3-0 up.
Yes.
Instead of saying 2-0, no, and we can still nick a goal. We'll win 2-0.
Yeah.
We might get another one, but there's no way they're going to score because we're going to keep the ball so much. But they don't do that.
No.
It's go, go, go. They might win, but they allowed the team to come back, which Chelsea played well then. Yeah. They've got a grip of the game in the middle of the field.
He's doing a good job, Frank Lampard, and he was at Derby County in the Championship. That's where he started his managerial career. He was there for 2 seasons. He did really well. Young players he liked, and his teams have energy, a very good shape, balance to the team. And you could say the same of Chelsea yesterday. Good balance. Mason Mount on the left, and Tammy Abrahams through the middle. He's got Kante in a better position. The fullbacks are there. He just lacks a couple of players. He lacks a real goal scorer.
Yeah. But Abraham scored 3 the other day.
He did, yeah.
I think he might develop into a goal scorer.
I think he might too, yeah.
He's got a chance there. And he brought Mount in. That's why he did well at Derby. He had a couple of Derby players.
Yeah, Mount was at Derby.
Mount's a good player as well, I think.
He's a good player, yeah. He's only a kid.
So they're a bit dodgy at the back, to be honest, But the makings of a good, and he does have a good approach.
Yeah,
to the game. There's no doubt. I mean, as the game went on yesterday, they got better and better. A little bit unlucky at times. Abraham obviously they need the finisher, like most teams do. But Abraham might come good. Like he looks like he has something in him, Mount is a young lad coming in. They brought the other lad in at the back that qualifies for Canada, qualifies for 3 different teams.
Yes.
Was another good young player. So, like, he's in a good position. Actually, he's making the best of a bad situation because he can't buy anything in the market. Now he has to give these young players a chance, which I think we spoke about before.
Yes.
And you don't know what these lads can do.
No, I mean, he had Tamori is the guy you were referring to. He had him in yesterday against the champions or against the European champions. It's a big game to come into. Now, John, the Manchester City annihilation of Watford, 8-0. They were 5-0 up after 18 minutes. It was Watford never tried a leg. Now they've sacked the guy who got them, the coach who got them to the cup final last year, and a very respectable finish in the top half of the table. They brought back Kiki Sanchez Flores, who was there before and they sacked, who seems like who did a good job. And anyone who's keeping Watford in the Premier League, you can say is doing a good job. But this was terrible. They didn't try a leg, John. No, well,
I think they've had a bad time, Eamon, since they got into the cup final last year, and that's why the manager was sacked. This manager come. I think definitely they're in trouble this year. There's no doubt about it. But you'd also have to go on the Manchester City side of it. Like when you get a defeat, like you get at Norwich.
Yes.
And the reason they got that defeat was because they weren't doing what they were doing.
Yes.
In the last 2 matches, they have done. That's their response. No, Guardiola, to be fair to him, like any great manager, say, right, that's finished that game. You were terrible. I don't want to let it be a lesson to you, never to do that again. So the pressing was better. I know Watford weren't good. But City had to do what they did. There was none of that complacency that we saw against Norwich. And it shouldn't have happened. But it does happen now and again. But his response, going to what could have been a difficult match in abroad and taking this match. I know it's only Watford, but that's what you have to. That's the way you have to.
Shakhtar, then, as they went to Shakhtar, which is a difficult place to go to.
Yeah. So and they did. So what their message is, what Guardiola's message, right? We've done that, but we're back now.
Yes. And that's the response of champions.
Yes, because you learn from it, Eamon. You know what I mean? I go back to time at least. We went to Burnley. We were beaten. I didn't think we were complacent, but we got beaten 4. I think it was 4-1, 5-1. Right?
Yeah.
And it was the year we won the league, 1969. We never lost a match for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Because your attitude is, for real champions, right, that was bad. That was really bad. But we're going to show now. That's not going to happen again. In other words, you see the likes of a mid-table team, they lose 5-0, Eamon.
Yeah. And
they're gone for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Because the morale is gone and everything. So it was a good response. And Watford was made for them. That's the thing with City.
Now, the big game, obviously, every game's a big game for a Manchester United team, but their big game this week was West Ham away. West Ham isn't the hardest place to get a result, although they lost there last year, interestingly enough. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, John, he's got some injuries. Let's identify that. Pogba was missing, Shaw was missing. They're 2 sort of expensive players, buys. I think Shaw is a good player, although Mourinho treated him very badly. Pogba missing, Shaw missing, Matic in midfield with McTominay.
Mata,
who's a good player, but they lost 2-0 and the performance was poor.
Yeah.
Where can they go and how long can Solskjaer last? Just to put one more positive fact on the table, the players they bought, Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, the right back, and this young lad, Daniel James, the winger, goal-scoring winger, look very good. They look good buys. But other than that, it's hard to see any sign of optimism or anything to celebrate at the moment.
No, it's very poor, Eamon. I mean, West Ham are okay, no more than okay, but it's also the manner in which you're beaten, and it was poor. And it was amazing. I just read a thing this morning. Celsius said, "No, the players can make different things of everything." Say that, no, the players are doing what I want them to do. Now that might have been taken out of context.
Yes,
but if a manager after a defeat like that and having a bad season, and the players are doing what I wanted to do, what are they going to do
Yeah.
when the players are not doing what he wants them to do?
Yeah.
Now it might have been taken out of context, as I say. But I still wouldn't be surprised, Eamon, if United went for Pochettino.
Yes. Yeah.
I still wouldn't be surprised.
I think I agree with you. I think that United at the moment are just above halfway in the table. They've got 8 points, the same as Tottenham Hotspur, I should say.
Yeah.
But as soon as it becomes clear that they're not going to get into the Champions League positions, that is the top four. And I think that will become clear very quickly because they lost Marcus Rashford yesterday to a groin injury, which could take a few weeks. And he is one of their outstanding players. Once it becomes clear that they're not going to be a Champions League team or in the Champions League next year, I think the board will sack him.
Yeah, I think it might go before that. I mean, you see, it's the dynamics, as we know, if that's the right word, of the Premiership and that. I don't think Pochettino's happy.
Oh, he's clearly not. No.
Right.
No.
So that makes it easier for them, United, if they want to make a change. I mean, if Pochettino says, "No, I'm happy here, everything is going well," they're in bits as well.
Yeah.
You know, Spurs against Leicester, they're in bits. They can't be right. Eriksen, Alderweireld, the other centre back, Vertonghen. Rose has already made it clear last year he's not happy about the whole situation. No. This is a mess.
Yes.
At Spurs.
Yeah,
and you can see it. If it's a mess off the field, Eamon, one thing about football is great. It manifests itself on the pitch.
Yes.
If things are not right, it manifests itself.
Well, in the case of Eriksen, for example, he's running his contract down. He can actually talk to another club in January. Yeah. And he can leave for nothing. Yeah. Next summer.
Yeah.
And he was on the bench at the weekend. Other times in the recent weeks, Vertonghen was in the stand for a couple of games. Didn't even get him on the bench. And Alderweireld, as you point out, is also so.
Dyer is doubtful.
Well, Dyer is
Wanyama. Is it Wanyama?
Yeah, he's on the outs. Yeah,
you know, he's like there's about 7 players there. Not Spurs. Now you can imagine as an ex-player, I'm an ex-player. You're coming into a dressing room, right? And there's 6 or 7 guys who are not pulling the same way as you're pulling.
Yes.
That's morale. I mean, the morale is a very, very very hard thing to describe. But and I think we said it before. Like when you've got everybody pulling together, it's blooming hard enough.
Yeah.
But when you got lads like Eriksen's coming in, you're in the same dressing room as him. You know he wants to go. Joe Blows wants to go. Joe Blows wants to go. How do you have that team spirit?
No.
How do you define it? Like again, and when you have a good team spirit, I mean, it's very easy. It's very hard to get that spirit, but it's very easy to lose it.
Yeah, just
again, I just got one thing now. Like when I was with Don Revie for 11 years, and he left, and as you know, Brian Clough came in for 44 days. We were a really, really together team. Really together team. After 44 days, I mean, we were gone.
Yeah,
because Cloughie picked on a couple of players that you wouldn't have picked on, and broke it within 44 days. We were gone.
Now, in Spurs' case, the way it's manifesting itself against Leicester on Saturday, they took a 1-0 lead, and they were 2-0 up against Olympiacos last week in the Champions League. They lost that lead. They lost their lead against Leicester, and they were 2-0 up against Arsenal.
And somebody else at that time.
Yeah. So they're losing leads, and as you say, a team that got to the Champions League final, they finished third in the Premier League, albeit a long way behind Manchester City and Liverpool. They're now struggling, John. They're in a new stadium. They're struggling. And Bournemouth and West Ham are both ahead of them in the league. So to go back to the Manchester United situation, he seems like a good fit.
Definitely.
Top coach, young, but with the personality you would have thought to take over and get players to play. But then he's got to find players. The Manchester United boardroom won't be any easier for him to deal with than the Tottenham, Levy at Tottenham. You think it would?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they have spent money, you know.
Oh, no, they've spent it,
yeah, but Levy won't spend the money. Like he's been there for years, and he's done what he's done. And the sounds that he's made, you know, after the Champions League final, if he'd won it, he would have taken a year off. And he's made certain comments now, which he's not obviously not happy. I mean, because I read in the paper in the summer there, they have 2 other guys there who were in on the transfer deals and that.
Yes.
And that's why Pochettino said, if you go back on a short time, Eamon, I don't want to be described as the manager.
He did, yeah.
I'm not the manager.
6 weeks ago,
I want to be the coach.
He said, I'm not the manager. I couldn't be the manager because I've no power in that area.
Now, if you got a guy like Pochettino in, that position hasn't changed.
No.
Right? So if Manchester United come in, right, he's in a position there where he could say to Manchester United, look, this is what I want to do. And actually, he's a better chance of doing what he needs to do at Manchester United than he has at Spurs.
He has a 5-year contract. He signed a new 5-year contract with Levy. I would say, knowing Levy's methods, it's hard to get a player away. He made Gareth Bale suffer. He made Modric suffer. He goes to the last minute of the transfer windows. If they try to take his coach, he'll fight.
Yeah, but Eamon, he can pay up.
Yeah.
Like Manchester United paid 90 million for Pogba.
Yes.
Right. A top-class manager is worth more than any player.
Absolutely.
They're not regarded as that. But if you get a top manager, look at Ferguson when he came. How much was Ferguson worth to Manchester United over the years he was there?
Billions.
Yeah, billions.
The answer.
Billions.
Yeah.
Now, if they get Pochettino in, all he needs is 2 good seasons and he's paid for his deal. So it's well worth it if they do it. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. Because United can't keep going the way they're going under Solskjaer. And Pochettino can't keep going the way he's gone at Spurs.
Yeah, there was an interesting conversation on Sky yesterday between Jose Mourinho, Graham Souness and Roy Keane. Roy is now a Sky analyst, something he said he'd never do.
You'd rather go to the dentist then.
Yeah. So, but it was an interesting conversation, really, and from Mourinho's perspective, he agreed, and as I said before, I think they bought well in the summer, and that's fine. But I think Mourinho and Keane and Souness all agreed that they just do not have the players, regardless of how good Solskjaer would or could be as a coach, and that is a fact. If you don't have the players of quality, then there's nothing you can do.
No, any manager, all the manager can do is do the best what he has at his disposal. It could be down at Bournemouth, could be anywhere.
Yes.
And Manchester United is no different. Yeah. In other words,
in fact, it's different. It's different in one respect. There's more pressure there.
Oh, totally.
I mean, that's a big difference.
And there is a big difference in it. But Heyman, if you would manager of Bournemouth, the pressure would be severe there for what they need to do. Don't forget, if it's Manchester United, you're expecting to be winning the league and being in the at Bournemouth, you're expected to stay in the Premiership. So the pressure is there for everybody. Obviously, the bigger the clubs, then the more pressure there is involved in it. But Manchester United have to make a decision. Are they going to stick with Solskjaer? This is the big time. You're saying, well, maybe they'll give it another few weeks. Like if I were Manchester United and Pochettino was anyway available now, I'd go from now.
Yes.
I wouldn't let another 4 or 5 or 6 matches go by. I'd go by from now. And now you've got a manager that you're given 3 or 4 years, has already proven himself. Now you can trust his judgment in the transfer market too, plus what he's going to do with the players he has at his disposal to get it going. You don't get it going straight away, as we know. Like Ferguson was there, it took him nearly 3 years.
It did, yeah.
But they stuck with him, and when he did get it right, he got it right for 20 years.
Yes, yeah. Just a point while we're talking about coaches, Leicester and Brendan Rodgers, he did a really outstanding job at Liverpool, almost won the league if Steven Gerrard hadn't slipped. But did a great job at Celtic as well. Yep. Good judge of players. Teams always play with confidence. They always play the passing game. Leicester are now 3rd in the table. They may not end up there, but he has rejuvenated that team. Yeah. And they were impressive against Spurs.
He's been very good, Eamon. And don't forget, he lost Maguire.
Yeah.
And they bought Sayensu in. And he's been a good replacement. What I've seen of him so far, because it's very hard to replace Maguire.
Yeah.
And there's Brendan. He's only just come into the club. He has to sell his best player.
Yeah.
But they're playing well. But as you say, he's done a good job wherever he's been, particularly at Liverpool. And in Celtic, how Celtic let him go, obviously there was some argument over, I don't know what it was about, but he did a great job there. And he's at the start of the season, he's done a really good job.
Yeah,
with Leicester. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah,
he's got Maddison. Madison's in.
Madison's a very good player.
Yeah, and he's revived.
Yes,
Vardy,
yeah, very much so.
He's a very, very good player. So all those things need to be done, and he's done them. Brendan Rodgers has been a very, very good coach, and he's not shouting his mouth off at any time. He gets on with the job, and I think he gets a good response from the players in the way that he works.
Now, a last question, John, for today: Liverpool, Man City. Who's going to win the league? I know it's early days. They've only played 6 games.
Well, Liverpool would be favourites now. They've got a 5-point lead. It's a long way to go in the season, as we know. The City slipped up at Norwich. Will Liverpool slip up along the way? It looks unlikely. I'd say definitely Liverpool have to be favourites, but there is a long way to go.
Yeah,
and we'd have to remind ourselves that last year they were 7 points.
Yeah, clear. In December.
In December,
yeah.
And they had Man City to play, which could have won the league on the day. And what a finish! Though. I mean, the City would have to do what they did, and Liverpool to do what they did. It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and we've pointed out this morning. I think it's important that we did that, despite the league table and the unbeaten record, not 1 point dropped. There's things Liverpool need to do to tighten up. And to manage games when they get in front that they're not quite doing, and there is this high line they're playing. So the
high line would be a worry, Eamon. Do you see? Look, if you look at any team, there's very few teams over the years, Eamon, and the great teams have had it perfect.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Are they good enough to win the league in what they do?
Yes.
I don't think they'll ever be good at managing the game.
No.
I don't think Klopp is into that.
Yeah.
But it's the overall effect. What do they do? And the high line would be a worry.
They've got so much danger, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly.
They can score. Alexander-Arnold scored yesterday. Yeah. Great free kick.
Yeah.
They've got Salah, Mane.
Yeah.
Firmino,
yeah.
I think is really outstanding. I mean, again, he got a header yesterday. He wouldn't be renowned as a header of the ball. But there's danger everywhere.
Yeah. That's like there's very few teams are complete.
Yeah, and there's pace as well.
Pace, but that's what they do. That's what they're great at. Scoring goals. They're not going to tie up games. They're not going to manage games, as you say. But if you look at all the teams in the past, all the great teams, some of them have been more balanced.
Yes,
than that. But it's the overall effect is what matters.
Right.
Are they going to win matches? Enough managers doing what they're doing? Yeah, they are. Now we've got to play the matches.
Yep, and see. Okay.